I spend a lot of my time on stage going, thank you.
Look at that, you point, and there's coffee.
That's star power. That's because I'm a rock god. Rock god's coffee. Thank you, Liz.
We should get someone to blow on it for you.
It's so cool, yes.
You're not going to blow on that yourself, are you?
Somebody got to blow this? You made me say that.
There's a line in the bio that kind of made me laugh.
Oh, a lot of the bio made me laugh.
It talked about how at this stage you're continually reinventing yourself at such a breakneck pace.
Oh, I don't know what that means. Do you have any idea what that means?
I kind of do, but the odd thing is, you were doing that 30 years ago. They're making it sound like this is a new thing.
Well, you know, I'm not quite comfortable with that way of putting things. I think what it really is, I mean, the subject matter that I write about, I feel is fairly consistent. It has been over the years. It's always about the same thing. It's a kind of a separateness, isolation, a sense of anguish. Oh no, not again. So there's some fear in there. A little bit of misery. The Miserables. Really, isolation, I guess, sums it up. And that's been really consistent for 30, 35 years. It's just that my way of approaching it changes virtually from year to year. I just try and approach probably the same questions in a different way each time. I don't know why, but ever since I was really young, I thought I'd never have a problem making money, whatever I did. So really, it was a choice of what was I going to do for it, and I just had a passionate affair with music. It was a very amorous affair with music.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door.
David Bowie was born David Robert Hayward Jones in Brixton, England, January 8, 1947. He released some singles in the mid-60s as David Jones, both as a member of numerous bands and a solo artist with little success. By 1966, another Davy Jones of the Monkees had beaten him to stardom, forcing a name change.
Yeah, it was David Jones and then the other lot came up. I tell you what, you might not follow that one up. Before then, I had one week where I was Tom Jones. Do you believe that? I still got the photographs to prove it.
Is it true that the London debut, people booed in '69, I guess?
Oh, yeah. I was booed frequently, but usually it came in concert with cigarette butts being thrown at me as well.
That predated spitting, I guess.
Yeah, it was the equivalent. But I seemed to do awful lot of the wrong gigs with the wrong crowd at that time. It took me a few years to get that right. It got right when I made my own crowd.
David Bowie's self-titled debut was released in 1967, with his breakthrough coming 2 years later, 1969, Space Oddity.
Planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do.
I rushed into my curiosities as a human being that a lot of them were kind of, I guess, considered taboos. There were things that most people would leave alone and not bother with and not really want to investigate because it might be a bit... The results of investigating them might be quite dodgy.
1972, that's when you told Melody Maker, I am gay, and I have always been gay.
That's right.
Because you said that was the most provocative thing to say at that time.
Well, it was. And, of course, it was true at the time. I mean, I was really pushing myself into every situation that I could, and bisexuality was definitely one of the greatest taboos at the time, so therefore it was something that I really wanted to know more about.
The early 70s would prove to be Bowie's most prolific and innovative period. Between 1970 and 1973, he would release 5 groundbreaking albums, with 1972 marking the debut of his influential Ziggy Stardust character. Ziggy was an image that would become an androgynous sex symbol. The songs had the pop simplicity of glam, hook-filled mass appeal, but lyrical depth that worked across the whole spectrum of modern music. Bowie had positioned himself as the linchpin of the glam revolution, bringing glam to millions and giving it artistic credibility and a solid image.
The characters throughout the years, as much as you've tried to get away with them, people like me will always bring them up.
I know, damn you. Damn all of you.
They're so firmly embedded in pop culture.
They were quite good. Some of them were quite iconic. I think, really, you know, when I started, I was very deathly shy about performing, and for me, the characterization of something seemed to give me a way of interpreting the songs without having to kind of, you know, be out there nakedly myself. But Ziggy was sort of half-baked, but he probably should have been a musical. And that's where I was going with it. But of course, needless to say, 6 months out on the road, I was fed up with the damn thing and wanted to move on to, you know, Christ, what if I could be bloody Ziggy for the rest of my life? You know, it's costing me a fortune with a hair dye. The audience reaction was just unbelievable for the Ziggy shows. I mean, we had a good audience reaction in Europe. In fact, probably the Ziggy thing started there first, but it certainly was taken over, engulfed by the reaction in America.
As a 14-year-old kid, you saw that for the first time. It was so different to anything else, and he wasn't scared to just try to do something really outrageously different and be himself, but at the same time they were fantastic songs.
The thing that got me about Bowie, I was 12 when I heard Starman, it was the fact that he frightened parents, but he wasn't frightening. It wasn't like Alice Cooper, who really did put her shits up people. You know, Bowie was just this like, my God, he's wearing makeup. And I found it fascinating that he was such a threat to people over 35.
I think it was very playful in the beginning. It was playful and it was camp and it was just over the top with Ziggy. I used to be able to stop traffic quite easily by just walking down the street. No more than that, just because I had long hair.
For the longest time, you dealt in illusion on the stage in the form of characters, and for the longest time as well, the audience had a hard time separating the artist from his creations. And I think it can be said in the 70s as well that you had that problem.
This could be said. I hoped that it had been put to rest in 1976, but it did follow me around for a long time.
What freedom did it ultimately give you to just be David Bowie on stage and not a character?
I felt that it did a lot better for my off-stage life to not carry a character around, because I would get very method about it in the earlier days, and I would carry the character through to my everyday life.
Coming up on the story of David Bowie.
Fame? What is it good for? Absolutely